Hi friend, I am Lee Keckner. Welcome to day number 10 of Relationships It's Your Fault. Oh wait, if you would please join me with 3 grounding breaths, I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm already getting outside of my head and I need to come back into this moment. And it's so awesome to take these breaths, set the intention of showing up in this moment and giving yourself this time, setting aside all the stuff that's heavy on your heart, your to-do list, everything. Just give yourself a minute to decompress with me. Uncross your legs and put your hands up on your lap. And we're gonna breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. Breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. And one more time, in through our nose and out through our mouth. Our topic today is tenderness, and it is one of the most precious words that there are, and it's something that I've been working on for quite a while. My childhood story was that I was tough as shit and I didn't need anyone, and then I met my husband and that kind of story started melting, and I still feel remnants of moving too fast or being tough or not being fully tender with other people, especially my loved ones. So this is something that is dear to my heart, tenderness. I just read a book that I want to just read the foreword to you. It's by a gal named Pema Chodron, who I guess has been around forever. She's a Buddhist nun, but I just learned about her somehow, but I'm glad that I did. She suggested at a talk I heard her speak at, a book called Training in Tenderness, and it resonated with me because this is something, like I said, that I want to grow more. You know, the other day we planted a seed in our heart and we're going to water it every day, and I think as that flower blooms that we are going to be more and more tender as we open in love. So this is going to water that little seed we planted. The book Training in Tenderness is by, I'm going to make it up because I don't know how to pronounce this, Dzigar Konguru. And he says the most powerful force in the world is a tender, open heart. Pema Chodron wrote the foreword to the book, and this is what she said. Last year, in a surprise TED Talk, Pope Francis called for a revolution of tenderness. He described tenderness as a movement that starts from our heart and reaches the eyes, the ears, and the hands. Tenderness means to use our eyes to see the other, our ears to hear the other, and our hands and our heart to comfort the other. According to the Buddhist view, all living beings, not only humans, but fish, insects, and every other creature already possess this tenderness in their hearts. All beings have the capacity for warm-hearted feelings. Everybody loves somebody or something, even if it's just a tortilla. We all have an infinite source of love in our hearts and the potential to enjoy that love deeply, to spread it wildly through our interconnected world. And then she said, I hope that this book will heal the anxiety and polarization of the world and may it contribute to Pope Francis's revolution. The book was pretty amazing and I loved it if you want to check it out. You know, the other day I asked you to do an exercise in the mirror where you looked at yourself for a couple of minutes and you got through the awkwardness of it, and then you really looked in your eyeballs and then you set the intention to see all the way down to your soul, your loving essence, or who you truly are, your capital S self. And I remember when I did the exercise, after I asked you guys to, I looked at myself for a minute and then I saw something kind of soft, and then I smiled, and then I was touched at what I saw looking at myself in the mirror deeply into my eyes. And what I realized was the final feeling I had was tenderness. Tenderness for who I am, what I've been through, what's coming, and just an appreciation of myself. So it was pretty neat. It was tenderness. We also practiced compassionate self-forgiveness the other day, and I asked you guys to think about somebody who touched your heart, and it could have been a child, a lover, an animal, that when you closed your eyes, you just had a warm heart. That's tenderness, just to let you know exactly what it feels like or how to find it. Today I went to Kundalini Yoga. Now, I don't know where the hell I have been, because I've been 3 times now and I'm crazy about it. They do chanting and you have to repeat these kind of movements, but it's unbelievable. So I get in there and I don't know any of the chants yet, and everybody's been there for a long time, so I'm making them up, trying to hear what everyone else is saying. So I'm doing that thing, and then every once in a while, the woman next to me would just glance at me, and she'd look at me, and I'd look back at her, and her eyes were, she didn't smile or anything, but her eyes were so tender and welcoming. And then I just kept doing it and trying to get the positions correct and scream these chants that I really didn't know how they really went. And then she'd look at me again, and I'd look at her, and the tenderness was just so accepting and loving from her face. And at the end, she turned to me and she said, "How did you like it?" Because I raised my hand as being kind of a new person. She turned to me with the same tender eyes and goes, "How did you like it?" And I said, "I loved it, and I'm so happy I'm here." And she said, "I'm happy you're here." And I said, "And I'm happy I got to experience your kind, loving energy. Thank you for sharing it with me." And she was like, "You're welcome. Thank you for saying that." So just this gentle interaction of two strangers, and then taking the time to share what's on their heart and seeing each other's tenderness, we both got charged. We both got charged up and walked out with a little extra skip in our step and ready to share it with other people, like I'm hoping I'm doing it right now. You know, I postponed my first time doing this relationships because Dave and I were in a very bumpy patch. And now I am doing it, and we're still kind of in a bumpy patch. And I realized, wait a second, being in perfect harmony with my partner isn't the best way for me to talk about relationships. Being in the thick of it, and the bumps, and the heartache, and the skin knees, and the learning, that's where I can learn. That's where I can learn my wisdom, and that's where I can teach and share with vulnerability. So I'm honored that my relationship right now is bumpy, and I'm honored what I'm learning from it and able to share with you. I felt like too before, I was like, when I hear somebody's like a marriage therapist and they're divorced, I'm like, a little bit bad, you failed, who the hell are you to teach? And then I realized when we fail is where we learn. So I just had a whole heart opening around all of that kind of stuff. All right, so I want to talk about Dave. I just dropped my readers. I want to talk about the other night, Dave was being a jerk, and it was kind of getting ready for bedtime, and he was being what I perceived to be a jerk. And so I acted like an ass back to him and said something shitty, and then slammed the bathroom door, and then he got in bed and put on his snore machine, and I got up to the mirror and started wiping off my mascara and had black all over my face. And I just paused for a minute and took a breath, and I felt my body, and I felt how shitty I felt, and I felt how heavy I felt, and I felt how unhappy I felt and disconnected from the goodness and the love inside of me. So I took a minute and I said, "This isn't who you are. You don't have to choose this pattern. You don't have to match the energy. You know more. Take a breath. Go back to your loving." And I just looked at myself in the mirror for a minute and allowed myself to see again that tenderness. And when I got filled and connected with that tenderness, automatically, without thinking, I walked right back out, opened the bathroom door, sat down next to Dave, who was faking asleep so he didn't have to talk to me, and I just caressed his face with both of my hands. 5 minutes. I didn't say a word. I just took that tenderness and I caressed his face like I might have my child or a baby, like a newborn baby. And he pretended he was sleeping with his little snore machine. And I just caressed his face. And as I did that, as I shared this tenderness with him, my whole body melted. And it's so sweet. And I was so relaxed and so in love with him again in that moment. And he fell asleep, which isn't bad, unless I was trying to have sex with him, then I'd be pissed. But I was happy that my tenderness allowed him to breathe and to relax and to go to sleep, and he needed that sleep. So that touched my heart. When you feel fired up, take a breath and be tender with yourself. It's a game changer, it's a relationship changer, it's a world changer. Take the time to look deeply into your loved one's eyes, deeply into the cashier person's eyes who's pissing you off. Stop. See, my dogs agree. I think a squirrel must have just come in my backyard, which once a medium told me was my father. So, hey, Dad. Anyway, take a pause and look in someone's eyes. Look in your loved one's eyes. If you're by yourself and you're feeling shitty, look at your own eyes and go deep within and see the love spring that dwells within each one of us. Okay, your exercise for today is get your journal. And I want you to write in it, open to a page. If you don't have a journal with you, write on a piece of chicken scratch and put it in your journal later. If you don't have a journal, buy one and put it in. All right. Put in there, today I will practice tenderness by ... And you can write instantly if you know what it is. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror. You're going to look in your loved one's eyes. You're going to make a new choice with someone. You're going to let somebody in on the freeway and then wave to them, even if they don't say thank you. How are you going to practice tenderness today? And let it start with you. You could share on this thread when you're done, or you can just write it in your journal, what you did and how it felt, so you can remember next time you need it. My quote is, let's melt both our and the world's hostility with tenderness. Dear God, thank you for our hearts. Thank you for residing there. Thank you that there's nothing we can do to disconnect from it, that it is always there, a wellspring of love and understanding and compassion. Let us quiet our mind and move to our hearts. Let us be tender on this short time we're on the planet with ourselves and with those around us. Amen. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on day 10. Oh, tenderness. I just got this shirt. Gosh dang it, I wanted to share who I bought it from. This gal's son has pretty severe autism, and she sells these shirts to raise money for autism. Tomorrow or on this thread, I'll tell about it, who it was. Anyway, so you could all support her if you would like. But anyway, this shirt, be brave. Love and tenderness is courageous and brave. Tenderness. Acting out of old patterns, being pissed and matching energies, that's old, tired, and boring. Being brave is being tender. So that's why I wore this shirt today. And plus, I just bought it yesterday and I like it. I'll see you guys tomorrow on day 11. Have a blessed day. Thanks for coming.